Hello, Akira here, and welcome to Dominions 5. We are starting in a new series today. We're going to entitle The Rise of Zel. So, before we get too much into how we're going to play the game, we should meet our protagonist and pretender, Mr. Zel. So, I have created him before. We'll talk about the faction he comes from in a little bit. But essentially, he is an imprisoned pretender, and he is a sage. He has become so skilled in the arcane arts that he is essentially immortal and is vying for the place of god of the realm. So we're going to add up to that a little bit in our role play here. Because he's imprisoned, we're going to give him a little bit of a chip on his shoulder towards those who maybe prefer the traditional route of technology over the arcane arts. So as we move through the campaign here, we are going to make an especial effort to eradicate those who would oppose our arcane magic here. So we'll talk a little bit about the faction that he comes from, but we're not going to get a whole lot from our bless points here, just because we don't have a whole lot of holy units, of blessed units. Now, what we do have is a wide range of magic paths to choose from once our pretender is let out of prison. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit of a slow start. That's going to be compounded by the nation that we're playing. So let's go take a look at them real quick. Let's create a world here. I guess first we should look at the map that I've created for this. This is sort of a random generated one. It does have a good amount of rivers, mountains, and lakes, so we'll have to use some strategy depending on where we're at in the map. There'll be some choke points, there'll be some impassable parts, so I think it should add for some entertainment as far as moving around the map. Let's just call this Zion, I suppose. Okay, we're going to start in the late ages. Again, there's plenty of iron and steel and a good amount of technology. Magic resources will be harder to find, but of course our mages are a little bit stronger. So in our story here, we are going to attempt to use magic to overthrow the traditional technologies of the day, which is iron and steel. And we shall do so. We're going to have 5 nations total, one being us here. We shall do so as the nation of Bogarus, the Age of Heroes. Now, we need, again, someone to really oppose us, so we're going to make them a difficult AI, and I have chosen to go with Midgard, the Age of Men. Now, these guys sort of, we stem from like the same upbringing, if I'm understanding this right. Their units are a little bit stronger than ours. I think their weapons are a little bit better, but they don't have, they aren't as skilled. They don't have as skilled of mages or as good of priests as we do, if I'm remembering correctly. But we're gonna treat them as sort of the opposite of what we're trying to accomplish, where maybe they're more focused on civilization and religion. We're going to be more focused on, you know, the dark arts and magic and such things. So they're going to be the baddies in this game. As far as everyone else goes, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we should make 6, just for some symmetry here. I am a fan of symmetry. Let's do that. Okay, so they're going to be difficult. Let's put an easy, aggressive AI in just for kind of fun. Let's do another difficult. Actually, let's make them defensive. So maybe they're not, you know, they just are content in their society. They're not going to be super aggro as far as coming to attack us, but we definitely want to eliminate them. We're the bad guys, if I'm honest with everyone here. Okay, so let's do another easy AI just for fun. Let's make them a little bit defensive here, and then we'll keep 2 normal AIs for random, just to see, you know, kind of what happens there. So the 8 easy AIs are always kind of a little bit fun if you run across them, just to kind of trounce through them a little bit. I think that's probably going to be fairly balanced. I'm not the best player in the world, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, let's click OK. Let's take a quick look at our nation here. So to start is going to be an interesting start for sure. Our units are pretty crap. They aren't the most powerful units that are available. They're not fantastical. You know, they're pretty much just basic humans with pretty crappy weapons, but albeit weapons nonetheless. Now, because of the age we're living in, these weapons are not uncommon. So you know, as far as expanding early on goes, we're gonna have to be creative and or patient. We'll see how that kind of works. I won't be able to build a whole lot of these units until I expand. As far as magic goes, though, I'm pretty impressed with kind of what we're gonna have at our fingertips. So we have these. I'm not sure really what to call these alchemists. What's a good? They're magical wielders, and they have good variety. The most of which is a starlet here, and essentially she has access to all these paths from the beginning. So, and a very good amount of research. So what I think I'll try to do early on is buff our military with as much magic as possible. So if I can get a few of these researching, you know, 100 points per turn, that should allow us to rise through the technology tree, you know, somewhat quickly, and maybe help our armies a little bit. Either we can craft some pretty good items for our commanders, or, you know, maybe we can have some pretty good battle mages as far as these go. So now she's pretty expensive as far as gold, 255. You know, the cheaper ones are only going to give us some astral magic, so I'm trying to think what these would be good for. We'll focus more on this once we get into the game and kind of see where we're at. Again, some battle mages, you know, some air magic and some astral magic. There's some good spells around that. Let's see here. An alchemist, so she can convert some magic gems for us. This is an interesting character here. So it's a level 2 priest with access to blood magic, so we can. But she's also stealthy, and I think this would be important because, you know, she can lead, which I should go into our holy units here, our sacred units. So they're stealthy as well, and they cause unrest. So, you know, not only can we move into other realms unnoticed, we can cause some harm there and maybe do a little bit of sniping as far as just like taking out some smaller factions and things like that. However, now we will have some blessed points, some blessed effects from our pretender, but they have absolutely no protection whatsoever and horrible hit points. So for these units to be effective, I'm going to need to figure out a way to, you know, buff them a little bit for sure. I know that some of the bless effects right now will be around attacking, but I don't have a lot for protection. So we'll see. I'm not exactly sure how this is going to play out in the beginning. Once our pretender is out of prison, then we can start really moving further down the research tree and exploiting some magic to expand. So hopefully we don't get aggroed too early on, because we'll be in trouble. So with that said, let's go ahead and hit OK here and load our pretender, which is Zel, and let's take a look at the rules of which we still play the game by. I guess probably most importantly would be the thrones real quick. So we have like 90 land-based realms. And so I'm a kind of a big fan of multiple paths of winning here. So we have 6 nations. We have 6 level 1 thrones. I always think that's a pretty good ratio there. 1 level 1 throne per each nation. And kind of like to figure out my thrones first before I figure out the points required to win. So let's see. We should give 3 level 2 thrones. So, you know, not as many as there are level 1. We'll kind of have to fight over that. And I'm going to say 2 level 3. Okay. So if we leave it as is, we can win by grabbing all of the level 1 thrones. We can win by grabbing all of the level 2 or all of the level 3 or some combination of the 2 there. You know, now towards the end game, when everyone kind of becomes really powerful, it can be really easy just to run over these level 1 thrones. So the question is, but to do so would usually mean having been able to expand to even reach those thrones. So I'm not too worried about that. You know, the level 3 thrones can be pretty difficult to capture until you really have some solid magic. You're certainly not going to grab it with just a big army or anything like that. So I think this is fairly well balanced here. Well, 6 points to win, 18 total available. So, you know, we got to essentially grab a third of what is available. So let's go ahead and say that's good. I like score graph just in case. I kind of want to peek a little bit. I'd rather have it and not look at it than, have it not be enabled. Since we have 6 Hall of Famers, let's remove that down to 5. Just because, keep things competitive a little bit. I do like kind of going for that. I think that's kind of fun to really buff out our captains here and kind of make thugs out of them. Global enchantment's fine. Limited artifact foraging rate. Yeah, let's see. 1 per month, that's fine. Random start research. Yeah, that can be kind of fun. So essentially, there's a certain amount of research that just everyone is given, but this randomizes it, so we could sort of be boosted in a certain area, be level 2 and be level 0 in other areas. So, that can help or hurt you depending on what you want to do, but let's leave it as that. Story events, let's enable those. I like all story events. That kind of makes it, it can really change your strategy. So if we start going a certain path and then a big global event happens and everyone's aged, then, wow, that's huge. That means our units are no longer as powerful. They're getting sick. And so we got to, maybe shift towards a different, more summoning type of an army or something like that. So it can be kind of fun for a single player to kind of deal with that. Let's go ahead and get started here. We'll talk a little bit more about, the lore of the world we're in here when we get going here. On a side note, I have just started the first book in the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, and it was very good. I know it's an older book and super popular, but I'm looking forward to starting number 2. Okay, so we have an interesting start. We're in the corner here, which is pretty good. Doubtful there's, of course, anyone behind us. So we should have a nice defensive posture to start the game, which, given our measly troops, I'm kind of happy about here. Zeldrebrek, god of the Bogurus. The Merchant of Souls, master of this world, Tower of Strength. So, of course, he is imprisoned, probably for some magic violating laws. He's really pissed off. So when he does finally... when he is finally free, it's going to be a much better thing. So we do have Magic 3 and a little bit of luck on our side. So hopefully some good events are going to start occurring. We can research a little bit quicker and sort of cast spells a lot easier. We will definitely try to use that to our advantage. All right, well, we have a throne right next to us. So first thing we're going to go is we're going to go check that out. Hopefully it's a level 1 throne, and, maybe we snag a little perk right from the bat, and then we can work on defending that. Let's take a look at our units here. I'll be honest, I have not... Oh, we don't want to send our commander. That would be bad. He would lose that fight, probably for sure. Let's send our spy over here. Oops. Still used to the controls a little bit. Sorry, guys. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look at our army. Right now we have a start of archers and some spearmen or something like that. Yeah, spearmen. Okay, so they have no range attack. They can move in the snow pretty easily, and they're cold resistant. So if we can fight in the winter, what does snow move do? This unit has the ability to move unhindered in snow-covered lands. All it lets us do is move across the snow a little bit quicker during those turns. I don't think it actually affects battle much. One issue is our maximum number of units we currently control is 60. So, it's going to take a while to recruit these guys with, let's go to the recruit units here. They're probably kind of pricey. Gold, 10 gold and 15 resources versus, let me see these, 8 and 8. So yeah, we are only producing 107 resources per turn, and what is our 415 gold? Okay, we're making a good amount of gold, but the resources are limited in our area right here, so we're not going to be able to recruit very many of those spearmen. And either way, even if we loaded up our army with spearmen, 60 of them isn't going to be that powerful. So I'm thinking we need a second commander and have 2 armies for some of these larger provinces that we're going to, some of these larger independents, because they might have heavy cavalry and stuff like that, and we're definitely going to struggle with that until we can kind of get a foothold over here. So the first couple of turns here are going to be a little bit risky, most certainly. So let's think about where we want to start. We obviously want to start with some magic and some research ability here. I think that's most certainly. She's going to take 2 turns to recruit. So until then, we're kind of just stagnant. We can wait to recruit another commander. That really shouldn't make much of a difference. I could certainly use another scout here in a little bit. So let's think about what direction we want to go with our basic units. They're not great for sure. You know, the advantage of a larger amount of weaker units would be that, you know, they're more spread out. So maybe a cavalry charge would, you know, be less effective just because there's more of them. So I think we'll start with that for sure then. Let's we might save our spearmen for like a last defense at home or something like that. Yeah, these guys have decent protection, you know. Defense skill is 12. These aren't bad as far as, you know, regular units go. The only issue is I'm kind of used to the early age where, hey, this would actually be pretty good. You could, you know, trounce over tribesmen and militia and things like that pretty easily, but I think these are actually going to be more common than not. So they're pretty basic units, which kind of makes these ones just crap. The big thing is their morale is 8, which is low. So, yeah. So morale of 10 is pretty standard. So these guys are basically just crap. What do these guys have for morale over here? So yeah, these have at least a little bit better of morale. So they're going to last a little bit longer in a fight, especially if things are going south. These guys, of course, have increased morale and absolutely no protection. So they're just going to die. They're not even going to run away, probably. And they're probably... How expensive are they? Gold 10. Oh, they're not that expensive, actually, so I can... These might be the route to go at early game, because they're super cheap. And I think they are going to get some of our blessed effects here. Yeah, you know what? Let's go that route then. We'll have to recruit a priest so she can cast some blessed effects. He or she can cast some blessed effects. And I think we'll go that route. Okay, so let's move them there. And let's recruit. How many of these can we recruit? Oh, they're expensive. Oh, and our holy points. That's right. All right. Well, the good news is we could do a little bit of both then. What does this look like? So 5 per turn. So in 5 turns, we'll have a decent group of these guys, which puts our offense off a little bit. Perhaps let's go ahead and create these guys just to take a look at what their overall stats are going to be when we're done. And we'll go from there. Magic. Okay, we don't really have to choose our research yet, but let's see what we have. Alright, level 2 of this, which is good. Steal Breath. The victim of this spell will have his breath stolen from him. Recovering the breath will require quite an effort and leave the victim exhausted. Okay, range of 30. It's just one person. So what's kind of cool about these is like that's a pretty good spell, but it just hits one person. So, you know, hopefully it hits the right person, I guess. Scrying Pool. We can spy, which is kind of cool, with some 2 water gems, which I don't think we have right now. Returning, this caster creates a rift in space that sucks him through, swooping him back to the home citadel. So yeah, we can maybe risk some of our mages a little bit, and if things go awry, we can bring them back home to defend. So that's not You know, the worst thing in the world, Mind Burn. This one's fun. It basically, like, makes someone go crazy. I'm assuming we can maybe target a commander or something like that with that. Sleep is always good. Again, just one person. So nothing really great with that. I'm not a huge fan of those. What I really, really want is construction. So we can start maybe making some items, but those don't get amazing until, you know, yeah, level 4 here has some decent stuff. Getting to level 8 sure is a lot of fun, for sure. And of course we can do some constructs here and things like that. Conjuration is always nice, for sure. These things can be very specifically targeted, you know, for certain things. So right now we can summon some animals, which is cool. Of course, you need a lot of gems for this kind of stuff. So in a world with diminishing gems, that can be a little bit of an issue. Black Servant. Solid Darkness. It is stealthy and often uses Scout. Oh, that's kind of cool. Magical Scout. We'll have some death magic a little bit, but we won't really get into the realm of what we're about until level 3. So, I mean, this could be fun to pursue. For sure. It could definitely buff our armies a little bit. We should consider that. The blood magic for sure. We're going to have a lot of blood mages. And we should start considering a strategy to basically getting blood servants, blood slaves. Bowl of blood. Okay, signs will reveal sites of blood power. Okay, so that's cool. Bind Fiend. Okay, so a little bit of mix of some summoning. We can cause agony. Oh, a large number of enemies. Okay, so this is like a debuff for the enemies here. Area effect 4+. Takes a long time to cast, but it has a good range. Okay, so this sucks their morale. Agony. That could be cool. Alright, well, I think let's go for... what is that? Let's go for Conjuration, just to maybe do some summoning. Because we were already sort of recruiting some... what is that, an air gem? So we can, like, summon these guys pretty easily, because we're generating those. So we'll give that a shot. And that way we can maybe buff our armies a little bit. And then let's go for blood magic. Not knowing quite how well our access will be to, how good our access will be to blood slaves. Okay, so that's a decent strategy to start. Let me think if I forgot anything here. Podro is sneaking. Sadko is defending. I guess we don't really need him to do anything else. Let's end our first turn. Yes, we know. A proclamation from Lemuria. So let's see if we can learn anything. As Prophet of Gear, Prince of the Elements, he who is on the mountain, Rider of the Clouds, foremost of the Westerners. So, yeah, this kind of maybe gives a little bit of an idea of what kind of foe we're dealing with here. We've got some elemental stuff, you know, maybe a lot of earth stuff and some air stuff. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Ooh, this is not a level 1 throne. It's guarded by 120 enemy units, mainly of ghouls, soulless, and heavy infantry. So my guess would be a level 2, most likely. Could be a level 1, but I think that's... the ghouls and the soulless sort of imply that, you know, maybe... it's definitely not a level 3. So this does pose a little bit of a problem. We're not going to be able to take that anytime soon. So we are essentially cut off from this area over here for resources. So, you know, my goal is to grab these right away, and then we can kind of defend it. But now our empire is going to be that much smaller and harder to defend. The good news is we have some mountains here, which will act as a buffer zone. So, you know, we can sort of keep enemies at bay with these areas here. There's some water here. An underwater throne, which is interesting. Some mountains here. So in all likelihood, you know, this is a province we can kind of keep an eye on here. Okay, well that answers that question. Let's go ahead and send our scout. Let's go ahead and send him this way. And let's take a look at what we have going on at home here. Let's go ahead and add these guys here. So we have 20 units there. And let's see what these guys look like now. Now, I can't remember what are... I know we have magical weapons. What else was it? Some fire. How would I remember about that? Let's see here. Options. No. View engaged preferences. No. Okay, let me think here. Options, map filter, statistics. I think we might have to wait a little bit until global enchantments, none of that. Alright, let's see. I don't know how to look for that. So what, we might just throw those guys into battle real quick and kind of see what's going on. Interesting. So what I can't remember is if our god has to be awake. Our pretender has to be awake for those effects to take place. So, you know, maybe what we do is we just kind of throw them into battle and just kind of see what happens and observe them that way. So let's go ahead and recruit a couple more. Use all our holy points. Keep going with the spearmen. All right, there we go. And next turn we'll have our researcher, and we can start doing some research, because I'm not doing any research now. Is that right? No, none at all. So, yeah, this is going to be a little dry for a while there, until we can kind of get going. Definitely a slow start. The Sati. I think those are the reptilian people. I can't remember. Lord of Terror, God of Fraud and Theft, Banner of Victory. All right. So, yeah, our Dominion is like non-existent right now. So we really should make someone a prophet here. Okay, what do we have here? Where's our... Oh, Pedro's right there. Okay, well, let's see what's over here. This looks like 40 enemy units, crossbowmen, light infantry, heavy infantry. So this looks like the realm to conquer for sure. Melissa's and archers. Take that back. Those guys are a little bit easier. Heavy infantry, a little bit harder. And lizard warriors, which are quite strong. Militia and archers. We should be able to take them if that's an accurate portrayal of what's actually there. We'll know more next turn, because we're going to move our guy here for sure. And then this realm will give us, does it tell us? No, we don't know yet. But has maybe some excellent resources and some magic sites. Okay, so I think the best bet for her is just to research, for sure, because we need that. The question is, what's next? One more? Or another captain. I think we can wait on the captain. That can be like a last minute thing for sure. We want to prioritize. Could go with a level 3 priest. So they could become our prophet and start sort of spreading the good word here. You know, our priest doesn't have to be a priest. And they're going to be moving around quite a bit, I think. So you know what we actually might want to do? Is recruit another one of these. This is what I'm going to do. Then we'll make them our prophet. They can preach the teachings of our pretender. And then also do a little bit of site searching for all of these sites. I think that's a good thing. Now we're kind of... Let's just take a quick look at the one below. That's kind of a waste of research. A little bit, in my mind. Because all that extra gold is definitely... Okay, that's... No, I think we definitely want to use her as a gem looker, a gem finder. Because we'll have one more here. Could even get with like a level 3 of one of these and really find some stuff. Let's do that. So which I think what we'll do is keep researching. And then we'll go ahead and when that next person is generated, we'll promote them there. Okay, recruit units. Forgot that. Let's see. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's reduce 1. Get a few more of these guys. There we go. Let's just actually repeat that. Would probably be good for a while there. Okay, let's end turn. Yes, I know. Okay. We have, good, 40 enemy units, mainly militia and archers. So we should be able to take them out. I think we can go ahead and risk it and move over here. We get a couple more resources right now. That would be super helpful. So right now we have 98 resources here. I think this, if I remember how this works, our fortification will actually pull resources from other areas. For sure. Okay, so then we should be able to pull from these areas as we conquer them. A little rusty on that mechanic, but I'm pretty sure that's how that goes. So let's go ahead and take a look at our army and see if we can do anything a little bit better. I'm tempted to remove my archers and replace it with our warriors. Oops, there we go. Okay, so we're close to maxing out our units. Maybe we should just wait a turn and send these guys in with a full Monty here. Question is, if they're sacred troops, we really should have someone, a priest, like blessing them a little bit. So just to make sure we're following best practice, I think that's what we'll do. So is there another priest? Is that how many points does he? 2 recruitment points. What is he? He's 4. Okay, so we should be able to pull this guy in 1 turn. So we get how many commander points? 0, so I think he'll come next turn as well, if I'm right. Okay, so that's good there. Let's go ahead and move to this area because I know these guys are going to be a little bit tough. So hopefully we can capture these provinces somewhat quickly. I'm a little worried about those guys. At least I haven't seen any cavalry yet. I'm a little worried about the cavalry for sure. Okay. Okay, we're researching, defending. Let's end turn. All right, we've researched conjuration, so we can actually start summoning a couple of things, which means I might want another mage for that. Midgard has a proclamation, which means that our enemies have proclaimed a prophet. Okay, so let's see which mage. We got 2, 2, 2, and 1. 2, 2. Okay, so the question is, do we want an extra air for looking around, or do we want more variation? Let's go ahead and this prophet, they're going to become our prophet, and then we'll send them to this territory, start preaching, then look for sites, and you know, they can kind of balance that in the beginning. Probably a lot more preaching in the beginning than looking for gems. But as we do move to these areas, we will improve our productivity and thus our resources, which would be good. They're still researching. Let's take a look at this character real quick. So if we go to army setup, we want them to hold and cast blessings. Okay, so we have word of power. This priest utters a prayer, most holy, and the heathen is struck by a divine bolt. Anyone surviving this smite will still risk being paralyzed for a long time. It doesn't look like it has to be on like an evil being or anything. Divine Blessing. We definitely want that. I think we'll kind of just leave this person on cast right now because Holy Avenger. Yeah, so we definitely want them to help our troops a little bit. We could surround them. I don't think they can. They can't, like, yeah, they can't lead any units. Okay, well, let's try to squeeze a couple more. There's 27, so here we'll take 3. And, okay, now we have a maxed out army. Now, these guys are going to die super quick, so I feel if we don't, we should rush them for sure. So let's move them to the front. And we're going to say attack the closest enemy for sure. And these guys will move to the right. I mean, really, we should just do the same with both. We'll say attack closest enemy. I mean, really, that's all we can do. There's nothing special about these guys. So my hope is that these guys will have a decent weapon, blunt and pierce damage of 15. I think that's multiplied by strength, if I remember, or added to strength, you know, and then all that's calculated here. So we'll watch the combat a little bit so we get an eye on that. But that's 15. These guys are 13. So they're a little bit stronger weapon-wise than these guys, but they have absolutely no protection. So we'll see, but better morale. So we'll see how this goes. We're going to go ahead and move Capsurco and Sadko to this area. Now, we should be able to conquer this even with just a full army without the sacred units or anything like that. So I'm not too worried about this. And we could, let's just take a look at our prophet real quick here. Could send them in as a battle mage. So let's just see what we have as far as spells go. That we don't need gems for, of course, right now. Summon storm power. During a storm, this spell can be used to channel the power of the storm through the mage. This enables the mage to cast more powerful air magic spells. So we have to cast this first. And then we could cast an air shield, which is just defensive. Twist Fate, Hand of Dust. We have to touch someone for that, if I remember. Yep. Fireflies. Oops, let's look at that real quick. Ah! Let's let's see what that does. Cast specific spells. Hang on, sorry guys, just a little bit. Left and right click is still a little bit confusing for me here. Okay, fireflies, right click. 6 burning sparks shoot from the wizard's hand. The sparks have a very limited armor penetration and will be ineffective against armored troops. So they can pierce armor, just not very much of it. Burning Hands has an area effect of 1. No, just a range of 1. So yeah, we don't want them to get too close to anybody. How much is Air Shield? Fatigue. So we should cast Air Shield first, just because there are archers. What does that do? Let's see. If it completely protects them, or if it just like reduces the chance. We'll keep an eye on that. We want to protect our mage. She's pretty powerful and expensive. And then I think Fireflies is fine. Although Arcane Bolt, beings, but useless, but harmless on humans. Okay, we're not any fantastical beings. Okay, so this one has a good range, but it only affects 1 person. I think the Fireflies is a pretty good, let's see, Flame Bolt. With this spell, the mage can send a powerful bolt of flame towards a target. Again, just 1 person. So, super powerful. It's going to be killing people, like, pretty much instantly, but just 1 person at a time versus, you know, less damage over a wide area. I think we want to go with that in the beginning. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit cast Fireflies, and then hold and then just cast. And then let them kind of choose. I'm going to fully script this, actually. I'm going to just See, what is this? Fatigue is 20, so 100 is like they're super tired. Over that, they start to either pass out or die. So we're at 20, 40, 60, 81. So that's 10. So we're at 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. We can cast this a few times. So let's keep... I don't think they'll... You know, they're going to pass out. I don't think this could kill them or anything like that. I've never read into that as far as like putting too much here and they die. But they definitely could pass out. Usually the risk of dying comes when you're casting a very, very powerful spell. And, you know, it sucks a bunch of power out from you once and puts you over the threshold. Let's do one more. Okay, let's see how this turns out, okay? This is a decent strategy to start, I think. We have some magic going across the battlefield here. You know, they could hold some troops, too. This might be a little bit overkill, but let's... Now, they're taking a morale unit, but that's okay. We're going to hold and fire. And closest enemies... Actually, let's fire and keep distance. There we go. Yeah, I feel pretty good about this. This is a decent starting army. We got some magic, we got some ranged weapons, we got some holy units, and we got some armored units. So let's go ahead and send our prophet into this area. Hopefully they don't die. And I think we're set. 30 crossbowmen, which are, you know, they have a little more punch than regular archers here. So these guys are going to be a little bit of more of a challenge. So we'll see how we do here first. Let's take a look at our recruitment just to make sure we're... Yeah, I think this is a good route to go still. You know, like, we'll play around with this. Let's keep it going. Let's... This actually might be the ideal... it's a level 1 priest, so they only have access to lower level skills. But they are stealthy. We could have them lead some holy units into these areas. Yeah, we'll consider that. And just kind of do some sneaking. I don't know if we need that yet, though. We kind of want to just focus on our surroundings. We don't want to, like, penetrate the enemy yet. You know, independents are just kind of whatever. So let's... Level 2 priest. I might have done a little overkill with this E-Park here, being a level 3, but that's alright. We'll see. 11. Should we go another researcher? So let's do it. I mean, the more research, the better right now. So we'll kind of invest in that a little bit. How much gold do they take per... That's fine. It's fine for now. Okay, I think that's a good move. Everyone's moving. They're researching. Our... Scout. Let's come this way a little bit just to see what's over here. And then we'll kind of start looking at these areas. I'm interested to see what enemy is closest. I don't remember what difficulty we put what on. So, except for our main opponent here. All right. Let's go ahead and end this turn. Ooh, thank you. Okay, yes. Research. Okay, so... Let's go with blood magic. 1 and 2. Start with that. And then we'll worry about killing blood slaves. Okay, there was a battle here. Let's go ahead and just view the battle here. I'm going to kind of slow this down a little bit and try to figure out what's going on here. So I want to go to 4 here and watch this. Slow it down a little bit. Okay. Divine Blessing. Oops, okay, and we cast our Air Shield. Okay, what do we got here? Divine Blessing. Okay. Okay, we are getting damaged here, okay, by the archers here. I could probably make it go a little bit faster. Okay, here's what I want to see. The cast fireflies. So... Okay, damage roll. 6 points of damage. I believe... it's been a while since I've sort of read these breakdowns a little bit here. So, 9 plus 5 versus protection, so no points of damage here. What are we? Alright. This Kill Star our mage. I gotta remember that here. Let's see. No, that's Afonso. Afonso. So we want to keep an eye out for Afonso over here. There. Let's slow it down a little bit. There we go. I think I might be hurting my own guys here. I think I'm missing a little bit here. My accuracy isn't that great. I might want to move the mage a little bit closer. For sure. And all of my sacred units were, like, destroyed. For sure. So they're not very good at all. Alright, so really what's going to win or lose the battle here is how long the morale on these guys lasts. So we'll see. Alright, we're running in on the archers here. I think my mage is probably pretty exhausted here. Fatigue, 89. Yes. So let's just read up on this real quick. Fatigue exceeds 100, the unit falls dazed or unconscious. Fatigue can be the death of even the bravest of warriors. Units automatically recover 1 point of fatigue each combat round, or 5 points if the unit is unconscious. So that mage is pretty much done casting spells. Okay, so we got an issue here where our priest and our mage are in deep trouble here. Alright, so he's increasing courage. I'm not sure if that helps these guys because they're not blessed, but we'll see. This is bad. Oh, these are my guys running away. Oh, that makes me feel so much better. Wow, they actually broke. Okay, so here we can actually see what we have. So we have solar weapons, which all enemies hit suffer extra fire damage. We have magic weapons, but that's only ethereal beings. So that's all they're really good for right now, is they have some solar weapons. So nothing to really make them last a little bit longer at all. So yeah, they're going to be horrible to start until I can get them some armor. In fact, maybe I did not play that right when creating the Pretender. But that's okay. I wasn't hugely counting on the sacred units for my strategy anyway. We'll have to find a way around it. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and fast forward this a little bit. I think we won this battle. We did. And, yeah, we did well. Let's go ahead and just quickly look at the battle here. Okay, we lost, yeah, all of our sacred units here for sure. They suck really, really bad. But everyone else sort of lasted decently well. I think our mage did fine. So what we'll do is we're going to change our recruiting habits for now. And definitely get rid of recruiting these guys, at least for the time being. Let's go ahead and keep recruiting these units, and we're able to recruit more now, it looks like, than we were before, so that's good. Next turn we'll have them, and I think I'm going to go ahead and recruit another commander. Inspirational, yeah, we want that. So let's take the extra time and effort to recruit that individual. And, you know, I'm pretty comfortable in maybe coming this way. You know, coming back, picking up some units, and let's have them search for magic sites. And we'll move these guys back, pick up some units, and then we'll attack here and move this way. And yeah, I think things are going to be good. Militia, archer, heavy infantry. It's a little bit more of a challenge, but I think this is a good combination to start. So yeah, maybe a good part to leave off on part 1. You know, we're going to keep doing what we're doing until we get a little bit more magic researched and some more magic items. We'll focus on that. We got quite a bit until Zel is free and things really start cooking. As always, thank you for watching. Feel free to comment down below on recommendations. If you see I'm missing something, your experience with the game, that's what makes this a whole lot more fun and intriguing. We'll see you for part 2 here real short.